Good morning, Tuesday, September the 1st. So a touch of the White Rabbits, pinch, punch, first day of the month, and no returns. I'm a little later today. I'm very aware that apart from moving into September, the mornings are a lot darker than they were a month ago. So it's nearly 20 to 7 and I haven't been up the hill to Upper Swainswick since last week, so I did notice the difference in the fact I haven't been exercising over the weekend, but that's my problem and not yours. I know many of you will be coping with getting the kids back to school today, and good luck, and I hope you're telling them to be sensible and wash their hands, whatever. It's sad, but as we go into autumn, the virus is still with us. Lots of things to talk about this morning. My husband has been keeping on and on about one particular issue, so let's deal with that first. He has a question for Baines. As a token of good festive will, he says, to local craftspeople and traders who may normally rely on the Christmas market to keep them going over the winter and support their businesses for the rest of the year, why don't they allow them to use some of the empty retail units for a period of time to the lead up to Christmas, regenerating the city centre for Christmas, helping small local businesses and attracting tourists? Just an idea. I have to say, I think the idea of pop-up shops over Christmas is a fantastic idea. I don't know how easy it would be for Baines to organise it, whether Bath Bid could come in on that one to help, but it would be a great idea to light up a few shop windows over the Christmas period. We don't have the market. We've got to find our own way of entertaining ourselves and being festive in the run-up to Christmas. Now, a lot of talk last week about the most recent planning application to turn the old Min building, that grade 2 star listed building, into a hotel. I was saying that yes, there is opposition in certain quarters, but they have to find a commercial use for the building to ensure its safety. Paul Thomas has come through to say it's very important that we don't end up with an eyesore in the centre of Bath, waiting and waiting for planning permission. He reminds me, because I did know, that a group of patients, staff and volunteers from both universities and from Bath Medical Museum are working hard to memorialise the old Royal National Hospital for Rheumatic Diseases, the MIN, by creating 2 virtual models of the building, one in 2019 and one in 1749, to complete the models with information and vignettes, that sort of descriptive accounts that you can click on to access from history. We're looking for generous sponsors. We've raised £2,000, but to cover the costs we need another £3,000. Well, a little more about that story elsewhere on the Bath Museum page. George Feiger. Good morning, George. Perhaps the merchants now start to realise that dramatically reducing traffic and getting people to walk actually increases business rather than reducing it. George is reacting to the temporary closures of some of the streets in the city. He says this is the experience in many other tourist-dependent cities. We need to introduce low-traffic neighbourhoods and eliminate non-resident parking throughout central Bath. Then there would be much more foot traffic, which is the key to successful merchant business. I think that's agreed in many quarters, that you pedestrianise an area and actually increase the footfall. And I was thinking, back in the Victorian period, If you didn't have the money for a tram, or you didn't own a horse and cart, you had to walk anyway. Thankfully, we don't have the horse manure to clean up on the streets, although my grandfather would rush out after the hunt had passed, in his case, and pick up the horse doings for the rhubarb. It was put around the rhubarb, still steaming, but you're having your breakfast, you don't want to know that. I'm hearing that lockdown, we're talking about April, May and June here. Do excuse me a moment. Oh, it is so early in the morning. Sorry to share that one with you. During lockdown, April, May and June, we've had increased rates of recycling during the COVID period, which of course is continuing. Glass recycling was up 43% to 1,950 tonnes. Card up 38% to 1,169 tonnes. Cans and plastics up 28% to 875 tonnes, and food waste up 22% to 1,963 tonnes. Now, of course, it could be argued that most of this was due to increased Amazon deliveries and the intake of bottles of wine. But apparently the food recycling figure is very encouraging. Well, the rate is quite likely to fall next year, isn't it? When hopefully we will have a vaccination and life will begin to get back to something like normal, but that's another debate. What is normal? And I know Baines is very anxious to promote recycling, to keep us doing this. Don't throw it away if it can be recycled. It's a social responsibility. And the one thing I'm still hoping will come out of all of this is a growing sense of community, that we can get over this I matter, selfish society that we now live in, where everybody is just adoring themselves, and start caring and start realizing we are just part of something a lot bigger, and that if we don't come together and fight as a community, we'll never see change. Anyway, that's today's lecture for Tuesday, September the 1st. Thank you, Robin. There are patches of blue skies, so let's be positive about a beautiful day to come. See you tomorrow.